Well, it is the first weekday for Madison's new bus rapid transit system. We'll have what you need to know as a driver and what it's going to cost taxpayers.
Plus, why one Dane County nonprofit needs funding and is struggling to get it. Good Monday morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Kyrie Lee.
And I'm Chris Stanford. Thanks for tuning in. So this bus rapid transit thing, it's been kind of confusing because you've seen those red lanes.
Yeah, and I've been all up in them, so
right. Oops. I think that's been the confusion because up until this point, you know, it says bus only.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, does that start now? When does this start? Well,
yeah.
It starts. It's in place now. So if you're out driving this morning, like, pay attention to those red lanes and watch for those buses.
So we got it behind us right now. So you see everybody's already out for their morning commute. So just make sure you're paying attention. Be aware. Don't be like me and have your husband questioning why you're in the bus only lane.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not the only couple to have had that conversation over the past few weeks. Let's get to Savannah Brito outside. She is giving us the forecast this morning. A little chilly out there.
Yeah, it is a bit chilly out there. We also had widespread showers yesterday, leading to higher humidity levels. Dew points are lower, but we do have some widespread fog out there. That's mainly well west of Madison, Black River Falls at 5 miles. Camp Douglas is down to just a quarter of a mile. We don't have any dense fog advisories, but if you're traveling northwest or west of Madison, allow a little bit of extra time. That's where really the only fog is located early this morning. Temperature is definitely a lot cooler than yesterday, though. We're falling to the 50-degree mark in Madison. A couple areas, though, mainly northwest and west where that fog is, those temperatures are a little bit cooler, down into the upper 40s. We will see cooler temperatures the next few nights, but warmer weather is in the forecast. Although today our daytime high will only make it into the upper 60s. Temperatures will be similar to yesterday afternoon, but we won't have widespread rain. We'll have lots of sunshine, some cloud cover increases mid to late afternoon, but temperatures themselves cooler than what we saw when we had 12 days, consecutive 80-degree days that ended yesterday. We'll recap that, compare it to last year, September of 2023, and also talk about exactly how much rain we saw in Madison over the last 4 days coming up.
Yeah, some folks got an awful lot. Thank you, Savannah.
Much.
Yeah, way too much. All right, let's get to new information from overnight of some vandalism on State Street. A couple of stores had their windows smashed out overnight. We got word of this about 90 minutes ago or so. Little Luxuries and Metric Forest are the two stores that had their windows smashed out. We've been asking police information, and we'll provide those updates here on News 3 Now this morning as soon as we get any. Now a live look at one of those new bus rapid transit stops on University Avenue. Today is the first weekday with Metro's new east-west bus rapid transit system, or BRT, up and running. Buses on this route are expected to go every 15 minutes on weekdays. There are some changes to drivers in Madison. So the biggest is those dedicated bus lanes, those big red lanes where it says bus only. The city encourages looking out for the posted signage to know what to do. You might have seen those areas on the street painted red. Yeah, motorists, you're not supposed to drive in those lanes anymore. Some areas, left turns are allowed. Again, these are marked with red dotted lines, so a lot to keep in mind this morning as you head out the door.
Yes, just don't be driving any and everywhere. Just make sure you're paying attention out there. But there are areas where you can travel in the bus only lane, so be aware of that. Those still say bus only, but the lane is not painted red. Vehicles can travel on East Washington between Milwaukee and Wright Street on the bus lane during rush hour. On Johnson Street between Bassett and State Street, it's bus only during rush hour. And it's important that drivers still follow standard red, yellow, and green traffic lights, please and thank you. The buses will utilize special signals and sometimes may appear to run red lights. The route for the BRT line goes from Sun Prairie Park and Rye to Junction Road on the west side.
Now, with the rollout of BRT underway, taxpayers may be curious how this is going to affect them, their bottom line. The initial cost of the project's $195 million. That is paid for by a combination of federal and local resources. More than half of the initial costs are paid for by federal funds. Metro is a small share of the city's general fund budget. There's no money in it for the 2025 city budget for the East-West Bus Rapid Transit project. There is about $5.5 million in the city's 2025 capital budget for the North-South Bus Rapid Transit lines. Fares paid by customers are going to be used to offset operating and maintenance costs. Metro is planning to open a second maintenance facility as well.
Servicing the debt is included in the property tax bill. The annual debt service on this additional borrowing is equal to $9 annually or 75 cents monthly in taxes on an average home. The funding from City of Madison for the specific East to West BRT is about $13 million. The funding spread from 2020 to 2022. Speaking
of budget, Second Harvest is one of many that are facing growing need. Dane County, though, is not funding the nonprofit this year. Since the pandemic, the food bank received about $5 to $6 million a year from the county. That's about 14 million nutritious meals. Last year, need for food increased by 30%, and this year it's already up another 20. Second Harvest president and executive director says the lack of funding will impact a lot of folks.
The funding comes to Second Harvest. We use it to purchase food locally from farmers, from vendors, from producers. And that money that stays in our community, it helps the local economy. For every dollar that we spend on the program, it spurs $1.60 in economic activity. So this is money that stays in our community. And ultimately, the most important part is that it supports folks who live right here in Dane County. And without this funding continuing, it's the folks in Dane County that are going to feel it.
Dane County officials say state law prohibits them from funding nonprofits.
In other news, police cited a 12-year-old girl in Seymour Township in Lafayette County. This is after she crashed a car in a ditch. Sheriff's deputies found the girl behind the wheel when responding to a call about a crash. Emergency medical services transported the driver to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. She's cited for driving without a valid driver's license, no insurance, failure to maintain control, and obstructing.
3 for the People coverage now. The Trump Vance campaign announcing a bus tour across the state. The tour begins today in Hudson. It'll last 3 days. There are multiple stops every day. It will end with a town hall at the Waukesha Expo Center on Wednesday. This comes as the former president announced that if he lost this year, he would not run again in 2028.
Now to updates in the Middle East. More violence in the region over the weekend. More than 100 Hezbollah rockets were fired into northern Israel. And in Gaza, fighting continues. CBS's Naomi Ruckham reports.
Early morning bombs and drones exploded near the northern Israeli city of Haifa Sunday in what a Hezbollah leader has declared as an open-ended battle with Israel.
Life has been shattered in our northern border. I don't think any American would have accepted it as a kind of a status quo situation in the United States. And at the end, there are things that must be done.
According to the Israeli government, daily rocket attacks have forced 100,000 people from their homes in northern Israel since October 7th. The latest attacks on northern Israel come after an Israeli strike on Friday in southern Beirut, which killed top Hezbollah commander Ibrahim Akil. Israel's military is now shifting its focus north, away from Hamas and toward Hezbollah, which the U.S. has recognized as a foreign terrorist organization since 1997. The U.S. maintains a heightened military presence in the Middle East, with about 40,000 U.S. troops spread throughout the region. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is said to be considering a plan to get all Palestinian civilians out of northern Gaza in order to defeat Hamas and release the remaining hostages. About half of the 100 hostages still in captivity are believed to be alive. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
This morning, the Israeli military called for civilians to evacuate homes and other buildings where Hezbollah may store weapons. The conflict is expected to be a priority at the UN General Assembly this week. We'll take a look at this not-so-little library in California. Here, neighbors can browse hundreds of books for free. You may be familiar with Little Free Libraries. That's a setup that's popular in many residential areas. Community members are encouraged to take a book, leave a book, and return it. The movement began in 2009 right here in Wisconsin. Now it's grown to a nonprofit with nearly 200,000 lending sites in more than 120 countries. But it's safe to say that this Little Free Library has certainly outgrown its name.
Look at that.
Which is amazing.
Look at those Little Free Libraries everywhere.
Yes.
Out here in the city. This, though, what do you do when the weather gets bad?
I mean, it's
You just throw a tarp on it?
California, so let's just hope,
I
it's just
suppose.
going to be here and there,
Yeah.
just
Well,
depending on where they're at.
Cool. Whatever gets them reading.
Yes, exactly. Well, Savannah, what's coming up?
Guys, temperatures are going to be near normal. That was the case yesterday. A lot cooler Sunday than what we had just the day prior on Saturday. But temperatures are going to warm again. We'll talk about how long that'll stick around coming up.
And still ahead, we'll recap the Packers win from yesterday. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Brought to you by Toyota.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for $479 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
My name is Jack Frank. I'm a retired paper mill worker in the valley here, and I work for Copeland Bus part-time on the side. I've had my own route now here for the last 3-4 years, and the kids on it are great. Flexible hours, they work with you in many different ways. If you've got something going, they accommodate you, or they try to get somebody to run your road. Copeland treats you decent. All the years I worked here. It's a great place to work.
Fall is just around the corner. Let the experts at Feldco get your home ready for the cooler temps ahead. Right now, buy one window, get one free. Plus, no interest for 3 years. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Democrats say everything's great, but when you're on a fixed income struggling to pay for gas, groceries, or medicine, it doesn't feel great.
Biden-Harris created this mess.
And Tammy Baldwin's been right there with them.
25 years in Washington. What's she done?
Raised taxes.
Added trillions in new debt.
And gave stimulus checks to illegals.
I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message.
I'd like a stimulus check.
I'd like you to take out the trash.
The Friends of the Middleton Performing Arts Center present Rick Lindy and the Jukebox Legends, a musical tribute to the early roots of rock and roll. Saturday, September 28th. One show only. Tickets available online now.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's hard to believe, but it's true. Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
This morning, Reach a Child is having its first ever charity golf outing. It will take place at Pleasant View Golf Club. Reach a Child is a Madison-based nonprofit working with first responders. Executive Director Curtis Fuzard says the hope is to bring people together to share their mission. He says the program started as a way to comfort kids in a crisis situation and distract them from a crime, crash, or domestic situation. The event today will raise money for the Reach Back program. Fuzard says they distribute about 30,000 new children's books every year.
Pleased to say that we have over 380 departments that have our books and backpacks.
but we've got a long ways to go. So we hope to raise some money, raise some awareness, and push further across the state with our books and backpacks.
He says their fundraising goal is to be able to provide reachbacks to 10 new locations, which would cost roughly $10,000 to $15,000. And you can find a link to register to golf for a good cause attached to this story on channel3000.com. It will begin at 10 a.m. at Pleasant View Golf Club in Middleton. And for those not interested in golf but still interested in helping them reach their goal, we also have a link with more information about donating and volunteering over on our website. That's channel3000.com.
All right, well, we saw a lot of rain over the weekend, Savannah. It was much needed for a lot of folks, but it was just too much for how we got it.
We got 3 to 4 inches of rain. Those severe thunderstorms, some of those hit Sauk County. That was all on Saturday. And this is a story one family farm has been running for generations, but they say this was the first time they saw such severe damage. And the extreme winds and rain destroyed chunks of the Hock-Niedrich corn crop. Tessa Jones married into the farm life in 2013 and has been working there ever since.
We're going to have to reevaluate what our game plan is for harvest, what's going to have to get chopped, what's going to have to get combined for our personal use, and then what we can salvage for sale.
And her husband is the 6th generation of his family who will take over the farm. They will work along with their kids and her in-laws to fix that farm. Yeah, many folks across southern Wisconsin had reports of damage. Lots of flooding. I saw that across Dane County too when I was coming home. I was actually camping up in Devil's Lake State Park over the weekend. We had 4 consecutive days in a row where we had measurable rain. That started on Thursday, 4/10 of an inch. We had a quarter on Friday, half an inch on Saturday. Most of that heavy rain came between Saturday night into Sunday. Yesterday, almost 4 inches of rain. That's already double just that one day alone, bringing us up to 5 inches just over that. Like I said, double where we should be through the 23rd day of September. About 2.5 inches. That's our average for September this far into the month. We don't have a lot more in the forecast, maybe a stray shower or two. We're waking up to mostly clear skies, but temperatures yesterday only topped out in the upper 60s. We'll see that again mid to upper 60s today as clouds increase through the afternoon. You see a few of those green dots developing on radar. The best chance of rain, that's going to stay well to our southeast, even east of northern Illinois, at least today and then into tomorrow. I think mid to late week, that's when we'll see lots of sunshine. But when the next chance of good rainfall comes, I think that'll hold off until the second half of this upcoming weekend. As far as sunsets, though, those are coming earlier and earlier. Yesterday, 6:53. That was the sunset. 2 weeks, though, that's going to be prior to 6:30, so earlier and earlier sunsets. We keep losing overall daylight as well the further into October that we do get. But like I said, as far as next chance of rain, you can see low today and tomorrow. Tonight into tomorrow, that would be our next chance. But the best chance that coming that Sunday, Monday, this upcoming weekend into early next week time frame. Temperatures fall like today and tomorrow, and then we're tracking these 70s again by Wednesday.
Matt LaFleur got a lot of flack for keeping his old defensive coordinator around as long as he did. But just as he deserved that, he deserves just as much credit for how great Green Bay's defense has been so far this year, and honestly, for how sharp the team has looked in all phases. Playing with their backup quarterback, Malik Willis, was masterful yesterday against the team that traded him to Green Bay just before the season. Keeps it himself and trots in untouched. The Pack finished their first possession in the promised land. But for as good as Willis was, the defense was even better. End of the first quarter, leading 10-7, and Jair Alexander reads Will Levis like a book. Packers up 10, skipping ahead to the end of the third quarter when the defense started piling it on. Up 27-14, they sacked Will Levis 8 times yesterday, their most as a team in a game since 2005. But they still weren't done. Xavier McKinney gets his 3rd interception in as many games as a Packer, and Green Bay goes on to win it in a coaching masterpiece, a true coaching clinic for Matt LaFleur, and a relentless defense that you've got to hear from.
We got a whole bunch of guys that they're just hungry. You know, obviously, like I've been saying, we got a goal that we want to get to and that we want to accomplish. We know we got a long way to go still, but every week we come in here and work, and you know, it shows.
Pretty much, we just know what we know what we're capable of. The last 2 weeks we were just following the game plan, and pretty much this showed how dominant we can be.
The Brewers have defied expectations all year long, and after all, I mean, that's what they do, isn't it? For how many odds they've beaten over the course of the last couple of seasons, nothing quite compares to yesterday. They were down 8-0 in the third inning and had less than a 6% win probability for nearly the entire game. But then in the 8th inning, 2 on for Rhys Hoskins, who flares a single to right, and it ties the game. A truly remarkable comeback that wasn't done just yet. Later in the 8th, Jake Bauers at the plate, and he beats out an RBI infield single. The run scores, and the Crew complete their best comeback of the year, winning it 10-9, the final. That's your morning sports fix. Have a magnificent Monday.
Well, still ahead, Savannah will have some weather trivia for you, so stay tuned.
Free for the people, only on News 3 Now.
Hey there, Madison. Dina here again. If you have a plumbing emergency, you need the RHD Dream Team difference. Call us in the morning and we'll see you the same day. If it leaks, bursts, or freezes, you need the RHD Dream Team. We remedy your disaster fast. That's the Dream Team difference.
We all know costs are too high, but while corporations are gouging families, Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts. But Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll make groceries more affordable by cracking down on price gouging. And she'll cut housing costs by taking on corporate speculators. Middle-class families build America. We need a leader who has their back.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor and the potential to take you anywhere.
Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado.
See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
We know Wisconsin workers can get the job done.
But China has been taking our jobs.
For years, our government built America's infrastructure with Chinese iron and steel. I said that's got to change.
Tammy Baldwin wrote the law to make sure American projects are made with American iron and steel. Now we're getting more work in Wisconsin with Wisconsin workers.
Tammy Baldwin stood up to China and our government.
She got the job done.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
No matter what your dream is, Spectrum Business can connect you to it. That's life unlimited.
Get an 11% rebate on your kitchen upgrade with help from Menards. It's easy to create your dream kitchen with Clearview Cabinetry, offering a selection of finishes made with the finest materials and built to withstand life's sticky messes. Clearview Cabinetry offers features like soft closed doors and drawers and cabinet accessories to match your unique style. Get these Stroma kitchen cabinets for $29.89.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Career politicians like Peter Barca will say anything to get elected. His latest negative ad against Brian Style, it's been called blatantly false. The truth, Style has always supported IVF. He co-sponsored a resolution supporting IVF. And Style backs legislation to help families afford IVF. Peter Barca can sling mud, but we deserve better than just another lying career politician.
I'm Brian Style, and I approve this message.
They say the kitchen is the heart of the home, but one look at this mess proved this love affair was over. If outdated, worn, and no wow factor describes a room in your home, you need the RHD Dream Team difference. We'll be on time, on budget, and fabulous from design to installation to put the heart back into your home.
6:24 on your Monday. This photo from Mark Hahn this morning on the Mississippi, he says. All right, look at that there.
It's giving like Noah's Ark vibes.
Yeah, it's definitely like, it's like the calm before the storm almost here. I like this.
Cool picture, Mark. Thanks for sharing.
Well, it's Monday. We have weather trivia, and everyone's been talking about how much rain we've been seeing over the weekend, right?
Yeah, I get a lot.
Yes.
It affected lots of people. We saw so much across all of southern Wisconsin. That's our trivia. It's related to the rain that we had over the weekend, specifically yesterday, because we did have rainfall, measurable rain the last 4 days, but yesterday was the heaviest that we saw. So how much rain? This is specifically in Madison. Yesterday.
Oh, I was paying attention. So
you were?
Yes, I was. I've been paying attention this morning.
How much rain did we see?
I am going to go with C.
C?
Yeah.
3.97 inches. Okay, Chris.
Yeah, I'm with Kyrie on here. I mean, this is at the Madison Airport. This is the Dane County Regional Airport. I mean, it kind of varied, kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Some areas got more, some got less.
Some saw anywhere. For the most part, across the Madison area, we saw about 2 to even close to 4 inches. The Platteville area and South Monroe, they saw a little bit less compared to us, but it was pretty heavy all across southern Wisconsin. I mean, we got drenched. We saw, that brings us up to 5 inches of rain. That's double where we should be. So
not even close to how we want to see it.
No.
I mean, dispersed over the, the course of the month would have been nice.
I know. We had 200 of an inch going into this, and now we're over 5 inches.
We needed that more spread out. We needed that more spread out.
Yeah, maybe better next month.
Yes,
we'll
hopefully.
See.
And we know you've got a couple more chances of some rain in the forecast coming up that you'll get to in a minute. We're going to take a quick live look here at the bus rapid transit system as it's getting rolling on its first weekday. Details coming up.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Meet Edwin Ramos. This illegal immigrant murdered 3 Americans. An MS-13 gang member, Ramos was arrested for a gun crime. But as DA, Kamala didn't prosecute him. Months later, Ramos murdered a man and his 2 sons in cold blood.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Pella windows and doors are best in class, not only from the endless styles, but for the features you can't see. Pella manufactures, tests, installs, services, and warranties their products, meaning quality craftsmanship and innovative design are built into every Pella window and door for timeless beauty and performance. Get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
The kindness, the efficiency, the respect was amazing.
From start to finish, they will take care of you.
Everybody is just so kind and everybody's so cheerful. I just never worked with a company where everybody seems to get along and they're all happy to be working for Cardinal.
Cardinal is the place to go for any type of work that you need done around your home.
I never hesitate with family, friends, neighbors to recommend Cardinal, and nobody has come back to me and said I was wrong.
3 years ago, I had an abortion of a desperately wanted and loved baby. Joan Ballwig wants to ban all abortion, with no exceptions. Not for rape or incest, not to save the mother's life. I know what it's like when women have to make these heartbreaking decisions. The very last person who should have anything to do with it is a politician like Joan Ballwig.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Today, it is the first weekday of the new bus rapid transit system. What you need to know as those buses hit the road.
Plus, Congress is racing to pass a spending bill to avoid a shutdown where they're at in deliberations.
A good Monday morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Lee. Thanks for joining us. Hope your day is off to a good start. It's the second day of fall, and it's sure feeling like it out there.
A little chillier out there, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit chillier. I definitely had to break out the jacket this morning, and I even have it here on my legs right now because it's a little chilly in here.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness.
It feels like fall's knocking at the door. Let's check in with Savannah Brito, see how things are feeling outside this morning. Hey there.
Hey, I'm definitely with Kyrie on this morning. Got my jacket on. You'll probably want that. Overall, daytime highs will climb to what's near normal, near that 70-degree mark. That's our average high across southern Wisconsin late September, but it is cool outside this morning. Most temperatures are right about the 50-degree mark. We'll see temperatures warm mid to upper 60s across most of southern Wisconsin. Temperatures will be similar to yesterday, not this morning. We're between 15 and 30 degrees cooler than yesterday morning, but we'll see them climb. Lots of sunshine going to return to the forecast. More of that on tap for Wednesday and Thursday. I think those are going to be the two best days out of your coming days. A chance of rain that's going to return, spotty showers at best tonight into tomorrow. And then after that, the better chance of rain, I think, coming the second half of this upcoming weekend. We'll talk about, though, consecutive days that we had in the 80s. This month, September 2024, recap that compared to last year, and also recapping the rain that we just had the last 4 days. All that coming up a little later, guys.
All right, Savannah, thank you. We want to get to some breaking news this morning. There is a silver alert out right now for a missing Dane County man.
That's right. The sheriff's office is asking for your help to find 65-year-old Timothy Campbell, who you see on your screen right now. He lives in a group home on Loper Road in the town of Roxbury. Authorities say Saturday evening around 6:30 is the last time anyone saw Campbell. He could possibly be wearing a gray jacket and gray or red sweatpants. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says he tends to leave on foot towards the Sauk City and Lodi area. If you see him, you're asked to call the Dane County Sheriff's Office. The number is 608-284-6840.
We're following some reports of vandalism on State Street from overnight. Here is some footage from about a couple hours ago. We know Madison police are investigating. You see a couple of windows smashed out at a couple of local businesses. Police are investigating. We're going to continue to provide updates when we learn more.
And we first notified you about that silver alert and even the vandalism through our Channel 3000 mobile app. You can download it for any further updates on both stories and many others. It's available in your app store. New this morning, today is the first weekday with Metro's new bus rapid transit system.
That means today is the day that drivers are going to have to start following those new rules of the road. So there are some dedicated bus lanes colored red on the roads. These are generally on the leftmost lanes because the routes are in the median, or the stops rather, are in the median. So city officials say other vehicles are not allowed in these red zones except when making a left turn.
And here's a look at the system map. That red line you see is Route A. It runs from Junction Road on Madison's west side all the way to Sun Prairie. The route runs through much of Mineral Point Road and University Avenue. It then goes around the Capitol, then up East Washington Avenue. There are park and rides at either end of the route. The routes in solid blue and green are shorter rapid transit routes. The routes with yellow dashes are part of pre-existing local routes.
So if you want to ride, know this, you have to pay before you get on the bus. Most stations are going to have a kiosk. That is where you're going to pay for a single ride ticket. Then you'll deposit that ticket on the bus. If you intend to travel a lot, you're encouraged to get a one-day, weekly, or even a monthly pass. There's also the fast fare card. You can add money to this card and then use it. Just tap it on the card reader when you get on board the bus. City of Madison's website has information on how to get one of those fast fare cards.
Time now 6:34. We're 6 weeks away from Election Day. Communities across the country are gearing up for the polls opening. Some voters in Wisconsin have already received absentee ballots by mail. There's a high level of attention throughout the country on how elections will be run. That's especially true in the swing states, including here in Wisconsin. Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald joined us on For the Record to discuss what officials are looking out for.
Yeah, we expect a lot of scrutiny. We're kind of used to that by now. I think a lot of what we're spending our time on is just trying to anticipate potential problems, maybe attacks on our website or other possible disruptions. So we spent a lot of time training on that, having contingency plans. So that's really been the thing that's different, that's taking up a lot of our time. But I feel like we're in a pretty good place right now.
He says there will also be greater security for election officials.
Meanwhile, in Washington, the potential threat of a government shutdown is once again looming. Last week, a 6-month funding extension failed to get through the House of Representatives.
And Speaker Mike Johnson has another proposal that he may have support from Democratic lawmakers on. John Lawrence reports.
The U.S. government is running out of time and money simultaneously.
There will not be a shutdown. There's no way that anybody in their right mind that they could allow that to happen.
House Speaker Mike Johnson wants to prevent a shutdown.
Congress has an obligation to fund the government.
And on Sunday, he released a plan that would fund the government until December 20th. It's a limited continuing resolution, or CR, that in addition to funding the government for the next 3 months, includes more money for the Secret Service.
We'll have to review it to make sure it really is a clean CR. But if it is as advertised, it is a positive step forward to solving this problem in a bipartisan way.
Unlike Johnson's funding proposal that failed to get out of the House last week, this plan doesn't include the controversial SAVE Act that focuses on preventing non-citizens from voting, which is already illegal.
The one thing you cannot have is a government shutdown. It would be politically beyond stupid for us to do that right before the election, because certainly we'd get the blame.
House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries issued a statement saying, quote, Congress is now on a bipartisan path to avoid a government shutdown that would hurt everyday Americans. Reporting from Atlanta, John Lawrence, News 3 Now.
Former president and current Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump previously called for lawmakers to shut down the government if the SAVE Act didn't get passed into law.
6:36, the Packers 2-1 this morning. Backup quarterback Malik Willis getting the start at quarterback yesterday for the injured Jordan Love and delivered another win. Willis facing the team that drafted him, the Titans. They picked him in the 3rd round of the 2022 draft out of Liberty. This week didn't take Willis long to get going. Going to fake the handoff, take it all the way to the end zone himself. Willis also threw for a touchdown on the day. Titans would cut the lead to 3, but then the Packers defense, Jair Alexander, he was just waiting for that one. He takes it all the way in for the score. Packers defense, their line, really strong yesterday. There's one of their strip fumbles there. Derek Van Ness falling on that one. 8 sacks on the day for the Packers. They're going to get another interception here from free agent pickup Xavier McKinney here. Nice little pick. Packers go on to win this one yesterday, 30-14.
Got a whole bunch of guys that they're just hungry. Obviously, like I've been saying, we got a goal that we want to get to and that we want to accomplish. We know we got a long way to go still, but every week we come in here and work, and it shows.
Pretty much, we just know what we know what we're capable of. The last 2 weeks we were just following the game plan, and pretty much this showed how dominant we can be.
Huge win for the Green Bay Packers yesterday. Backup quarterback on the road, getting another win with your quarterback on the sidelines. Couldn't ask for anything better than that.
No, you really can't. And like I said, there might be a little pressure on Love's back right now. I mean, he better come back, refreshed, ready to go. Got to keep that momentum going.
Yeah. It's going to be good to have him back in the lineup. Malik Willis, though, stepping up when the Packers really needed him.
Yes. Well, coming up after the break, meet a local organization bringing literacy to your kids and how you can help.
We have seen measurable rainfall across southern Wisconsin the last 4 days. Those are consecutive. We'll recap over the last 48 hours where that heaviest track did fall.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Now is the best time to buy new Champion windows, because when you buy two, you get two free.
Hurry, Champion's Buy Two, Get Two free sale is for a limited time.
That's a great deal. Thanks.
Call 888-4CHAMPION or schedule your free in-home estimate online today.
4 years ago, rioters set this Minneapolis police station on fire, trying to burn me and my fellow police officers alive. Governor Tim Walz left us for dead. And Kamala Harris?
This is a movement, I'm telling you. Everyone beware. They're not going to let up, and they should not.
She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding the police. Kamala sold cops out and put families at risk. Kamala Harris is too weak and too dangerous to be president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Drive into summer with the rugged Honda Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot. Summer is for exploring, so get outdoors, kick up some dust, get muddy, or just find that perfect campsite. All from Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So act now to get an offer you'll love. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
I'm Joan Ballwig, and these days the cost to make Great-Grandma Ballwig's Blue Ribbon banana bread is, well, just nuts. Wisconsin families are feeling the pinch of inflation, even on the basics. That's why I work to put dough back in your pockets. Led the effort to defend our family farms and pass the biggest tax cut in state history, because the only way to make life affordable again is to do what banana bread does and bring everyone to the table.
Oh, another morning to savor the crunchy nooks and cranny splendor of a Thomas's English muffin.
Tom, which is a nook and which is a cranny?
That's a nook, cranny, 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 nook, cranny. I mean, they should be teaching you this in school. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's hard to believe, but it's true. Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde is a multimillionaire California bank CEO. But when it comes to our health care, his plans aren't so rich. Hovde says he wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act.
We have to try to defund every aspect of Obamacare,
costing 200,000 Wisconsin families their health care. And Hovde supported policies that will cut Social Security and Medicare and raise the Social Security retirement age. A millionaire lifestyle works great for Hovde, but his plans on health care are a disaster for us. Win Senate is responsible for the content of this.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
6:43 on your Monday. This morning, Reach a Child is having its first ever charity golf outing. It will take place at Pleasant View Golf Club in Middleton. Reach a Child is a Madison-based nonprofit working with first responders. Their executive director, Curtis Fuzard, says the hope is to bring people together to share their mission. He says the program started as a way to comfort kids in a crisis situation and distract them from a crime, crash, or domestic situation. The event today will raise money for the Reach Back program. Fuzard says they distribute about 30,000 new children's books every year.
We're going out to the first responder network that we support, and oftentimes those books are used in a very positive way. The first responders are engaging with children, maybe at the playground, maybe in the schools, wherever. Sometimes they're used to comfort children in a crisis situation. That's kind of how we started. We just want to make sure that the first responders have this tool to use when they deem it appropriate.
He says their fundraising goal is to be able to provide reach bags to 10 new locations, which would cost roughly $10,000 to $15,000.
Well, you can find a link to register to Golf for a Cause. Just go to this story at channel3000.com. It begins at 10 o'clock this morning at Pleasant View Golf Club.
Checking in now with Savannah Brito, who's here now with your first warn of weather. Good morning. How's it looking?
Good morning. We're tracking maybe a few isolated showers, mainly better tonight into tomorrow, but we had 4 days in a row that we got consecutive rainfall. Areas with the oranges and the reds, that's upwards of 3 to 4, close to 4 inches of rainfall reported. This was over the last 48 hours, most of that coming late Saturday into all day yesterday. Madison and areas in western Dane County received the heaviest locally. But like I said, that was 4 days in a row that we got measurable rainfall. Nearly 3 weeks went by without much rain at all prior to that. We had 0.4 of an inch on Thursday, over just about a quarter on the 20th, half an inch on Saturday, and nearly 4 inches of rainfall. Too much, though. That led to a lot of flooding across southern Wisconsin and lots of damage, too. So all that rain at once, not a good thing. We're now double where we should be for September of 2024. Also, yesterday ended the consecutive 12 days in a row that we had the 80s. That was data, all of this, the rainfall and this, off of the Dane County Regional Airport. Last year, I just compared that. We had 6 days. That was the start of September of 2023, and that actually included some 90s, so above 80-degree days. We did not have any 90s. We're not going to see any 90s this month, but that was 12 days in a row. Yesterday, we only made it up to 68. We'll see more of that mid to upper 60s today and tomorrow. We're now down to 49, though, at the airport, so probably want to jacket early this morning. Temperatures around 10 a.m., 60, mid-60s by noon, and we'll see temperatures top out right about that 70-degree mark. It's not impossible that some areas squeeze out that with the right amount of sunshine. I think we'll see that early in the day, but then some clouds later in the day as our winds start to transition back out of a southerly pattern. That'll kind of be the case, a southeasterly wind the next couple of days. Any spotty shower chances you can see better to our southeast. Can't rule out a few very stray ones. They're not going to last that long, though. I think our better chance at a more soaking rain possibly coming that second half of this upcoming weekend into Monday. It'll depend on a couple things, but temperatures falling during that time frame after a little bit of a warm up this week.
Yeah, all right, Savannah, thank you. Let's get an update on our coat count. Our Coats for Kids campaign is going on, and we're getting closer to our goal, but we got a long way to go, and we really need your help, folks. Help us help those kids in Dane County. All right, so we got 911 items, but we've got a 5,000 item goal this year. So we need more of those gently used or new coats, hats, mittens, gloves, scarves. Just drop them off at any Clinky Cleaners or the Lucier Family YMCA before Saturday, October 5th. If you don't have any items to donate, you can always make a monetary donation. Just go to channel3000.com. A pantry staple found in many of our kitchens may be toxic. That is the alarming takeaway from a new Consumer Reports investigation into lead in ground cinnamon. In some cases, tests reveal high lead levels. Whether you sprinkle it on your oatmeal or bake with it, Consumer Reports breaks down which brands tend to be safer and which could be potentially toxic to your family. David Fazakis explains.
It's a common spice found in many kitchens, but certain brands of cinnamon may be hiding a dangerous secret: toxic levels of lead. Consumer Reports tested 36 ground cinnamon products and spice blends with cinnamon. 1 out of 3 contained lead levels above 1 part per million, the threshold that can trigger a recall in New York State, but not nationwide. More on that in a minute.
Just a quarter teaspoon of any of these products gives you more lead than you should have in an entire day. If you have any one of those products, we think you should just throw it away.
First, an important reminder that lead exposure can have serious health consequences, especially for children and during pregnancy. In adults, it's been linked to kidney damage and hypertension. How does lead get into cinnamon in the first place?
Cinnamon trees take about 10 years to grow, giving ample time to absorb lead from soil and water. Additionally, during the drying process of the bark, the lead can become concentrated.
Most cinnamon sold in the U.S. is imported from Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and Vietnam, where regulations on soil contaminants may be less stringent. The highest lead levels from CR's test were found in 3 lesser-known brands, which are sold mostly in international food markets. After being informed of the results, only Paras and EGN told Consumer Reports that they would stop selling their products. Only 2 of the 10 other companies replied. Deep and Yi both said they tested their product or relied on tests from their suppliers. On the other side, 6 products had very low or no detectable lead. And if you're wondering what the government is doing about this, there are no federal limits for lead in cinnamon or any other spice. Consumer advocates call for national regulations similar to those in New York, where more than 100 spices have been recalled since 2016 due to heavy metal contamination. In the meantime, experts recommend choosing cinnamon with the lowest lead levels in Sears tests, sticking with mainstream brands, and limiting overall lead exposure from all sources.
Consumer Reports has informed the Food and Drug Administration of the results. The agency says it cannot comment on Consumer Reports testing.
In more local news, a girl in Racine is a hero after saving her siblings in a house fire. 11-year-old Trinity Cornice smelled and saw smoke in her home. She then immediately alerted her 6 siblings who were home at the time. The kids range in age from 14 years down to 6 months. All 7 of them and a dog made it out safely.
What scared me the most, I could see the smoke, which was even scarier. My plan was just to get everybody outside. And I was like, yeah, get outside. Why? There's a fire in the house.
Turns out Trinity's quick thinking is thanks to preparation. The household had a safety plan in place and practiced in advance. Kudos to that family for putting that in place.
That's what you're supposed to do. What a brave kiddo to get her family out of there safely, maintain calm. Way to go.
Yes, and at only 11, so good thinking there.
Smart kiddo.
Well, coming up in the morning sprint, the health risk cancer survivors face.
If you've got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture. We'll show it on TV.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
Gas, groceries, school supplies, everything costs more. Eggs are almost twice as much as they were 4 years ago. Biden, Harris, and the Democrats keep telling us things are better. They aren't better. And Tammy Baldwin is making it worse, raising taxes, running up debt, voting for spending that's driving inflation. 25 years in Washington and she's done nothing. It's time for a change.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
I can honestly say that Cardinal has never let me down.
I definitely recommend Cardinal Heating and Air Conditioning because of the professionalism.
Cardinal will always be my first call for anything that Cardinal does.
I think we're going to continue to use Cardinal for a long time.
This ad is a complete lie. The truth is, Tammy Baldwin's never shared inside information with her partner. And Tammy Baldwin's leading the fight to ban senators from purchasing any individual stocks. It's Eric Hovde, who owns a $3 billion California bank. And Hovde's bank takes millions from unknown foreign interests, meaning we'd have no idea who Eric Hovde would really be working for. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
There are over 21,000 Wisconsin veterans struggling to pay for rent and utilities.
Thank you for your service.
Many are also facing issues with their mental health.
Thank you for your service.
We must do more to help these heroes who have already sacrificed so much.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Words simply aren't enough.
I'm sorry.
Make a difference by donating to this critical Wisconsin survival safety net today.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished?
There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it. And I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
You just have to get on the yellow seat. Think Sloan's first.
It's 6:54, time for the morning sprint.
It is the first weekday of the new bus rapid transit system. Here's a live look at a stop on University Avenue at Shorewood. The new buses are going to transport passengers between West Madison and Sun Prairie every 15 minutes. They'll use dedicated bus lanes painted red on the roads that cars are supposed to stay away from. You have to buy a ticket before you get on one of these buses. You can use the kiosks at the stations, or you can get a refillable fast fare card.
In Madison, police are investigating vandalism on State Street. Vandals smashed out windows at 2 small businesses overnight, Little Luxuries and Metric Forest. We are working to find out if there are any arrests or suspects. We will update this story at channel3000.com and Channel 3000 Plus.
A 12-year-old girl is recovering after crashing a car in a ditch. It happened in Seymour Township in Lafayette County. Sheriff's deputies found the girl behind the wheel. Emergency medical services then transported her to a hospital. She is expected to survive her injuries. She was cited, though, for driving without a valid driver's license, among other offenses.
The Trump-Vance campaign will be touring Wisconsin by bus. The tour begins today in Hudson, and it will last 3 days. There are multiple stops per day. They will end with a town hall at the Waukesha Expo Center on Wednesday. This comes as Trump announced that he would likely not run for a 4th time in the 2028 election.
In Washington this morning, congressional leaders are working to avoid a government shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson releasing a new plan to fund the government until December. Democrats support the continuing resolution. It includes more funding for the Secret Service and leaves out the SAVE Act, which would prohibit non-citizens from voting, which is already illegal.
Older cancer survivors face double the risk of stroke and heart attack than cancer-free seniors. That's according to an analysis in the Journal of the American Cancer Society. Researchers in Australia found that chemotherapy was also connected to elevated rates of cardiovascular events.
We got a lot of rain yesterday, nearly 4 inches. That was at the Dane County Regional Airport. The good news is little to no rain going forward. Spotty showers if that stay in tomorrow. Better chance Sunday. So we'll have a couple of dry days, a couple of fall-like days, and then the 70s by Wednesday.
All right, Savannah, thank you for that update.
You're welcome.
We'll be back in 30 minutes with another news and weather update.